what is the evolutionary story in all of this? So, like, obviously, evolution by natural selection has constructed these systems that are incredibly messy and complex. Like, what is the evolutionary story of how this very different system results in kind of robust agency or cognition?
Right. Well, I'm going to start off by saying the answer to that is we don't know. And certainly I don't know, but I don't think anyone really
Yeah,
knows. And that's why
and
I
that's
feel
fair.
we're not ready to really say yet whether there are implications for evolution. Having said that, I'm at this stage, I'm actually quite, I think I'm quite a conservative from that point of view. There are some people who say this new understanding, and in particular, once we start to think more of living things in terms of agency rather than as kind of automata that are just, being impelled by our genes, that means we need to profoundly change some things in the standard neo-Darwinian evolutionary model. Now, that may turn out to be true, but at the moment, I haven't seen compelling arguments for why that has to happen. I understand, why that is being suggested, but I'm kind of I'm taking the position at the moment that we just don't know. Let's wait and see, and let's let's ask that question in a quite cautionary way, because it's very tempting, and we've seen this again and again, to sort of say, hey, Darwin was wrong. We've got to reinvent the theory, but actually, I don't see any need for that yet. Having said that, one can see that there could well be some important implications of, the notion, once we start to think of living organisms really as agents that that they're in a very real sense cognitive. They're responding in an intelligent way to their environment rather than acting as automata, as programmed machines, with the genes in control. Once we recognize that actually the genes aren't in control of this, to understand this notion of agency that every living thing has, and in fact is probably, I think, the defining characteristic, the most defining characteristic of everything alive. Once we understand that that is not coming from the genes, that is a property of the whole organism, then perhaps, there might be some ways in which we have to rethink how how that process of natural selection is being sort of reflected back into the genome.